Within Corrosive Continuums is the third full-length album from Skelethal. This is a French death metal band and one who started out with a very Swedish sound. I was originally formed between the main fellow and John Whiplash of Sepulchre now. Guy Haunting, the lead fellow behind it, the vocalist guitarist, has a real knack for that Swedish death metal sound and was very good at it on the first record of The Depths. I remember having a lot of praise for that record for just the classic style of it. You know, every year you get that one just classic Swedish death metal record that I have to praise, and that was it in 2017. And I was glad to see that the fellow from Mortal Scepter joined the band and has helped round out their sound with more guitar solos and leads. So eventually the lineup changed, the style of the band changed, they brought in a lot of different influences, and today we get a sound that is pretty varied in what it presents. So we'll cut to a clip here, and then we'll talk about what's different, what's new, and what's interesting about this record. So there are two minds displayed on this record. Skelethal are clearly influenced by the dirtiest old school 80s Swedish death metal you can think of. And you can compare a lot of the punkish songs on side A to that of Utratum. I think they did a split with the band a little while ago, and they really seem to have bought into this simpler, aggressive late 80s style of punkish death metal. And I think that really works for their sound. They've rawed up the production values here. This is a little bit more of an atmospheric record in that sense. But they've also brought in a very proficient, intensely talented drummer here with Ilmar Weibo, who is best known for Bloody Sign, Chaos Echoes, and Necrowretch as well. And so he brings in a little bit more of a kick to this record, which raises up the level of these songs to something closer to like an Angel Corpse at times. There's some blasting on this record as there was in the last one. So if you were a fan of the previous record, there's a lot that Within Corrosive Continuums does to carry on that style, but not in any direct and serious way. This feels like it's more of a kind of from the hip record. It's got a little bit of Morbid Angel. There's a little bit of Finnish death metal. There's a lot of Swedish death metal on this thing, and there's kind of a punkish touch to that start of it. So 1 minute on this review, I'm talking about Grave Miasma and Immolation. The next, I'm talking about Dismember, and I think that should reflect the way it feels to listen to this song over and over, compared to their previous record, which was a little bit more direct. It was a little bit more cohesive and felt like it was more set in stone. And so this is really emphasized, and I think you really get what I'm talking about by the time the album closes. It closes with a 12-minute instrumental, and I don't know why they did that. It's a great jam. It's a solid song. I like. There's riffs all over it. It shows the full oeuvre of the band, but it doesn't really make any sort of a statement. And I compare that to like a Blood Incantation record in recent years where there's kind of a vignette happening. There's a lot of different influences they're kind of cutting through in a medley, but it doesn't necessarily. That's not really what I want to hear on a death metal record. I want to hear your best song, and I want to hear it, cut my head off. I don't necessarily want to hear a vignette of their favorite styles of riff from the 90s death metal spectrum. So it wasn't so much a disappointment. It plays really well on a full listen. I have to appreciate just how a record sounds and not how I feel about the way it was put together. And overall, this is a great death metal record. It's a solid showing. There's a lot that they cover here, and all of it is fantastic. And I think Skelethal continue to impress with everything they do. I will say I like the last record a lot more. It was just a little bit more impressive in terms of the songwriting. I think it showed an evolution beyond their first record. It was a new sound, and with this record, it feels like they've kind of shoehorned it all together as best as they could, but they didn't quite have enough time to develop like a full series of songs that felt like an album that was completely considered. So solid record, great sound, riffs all over the place, great leads. The drummer is obviously a huge talent. This is a great record. It's just that that last song, it sort of kills the mood for me a little bit in hindsight. In terms of the lasting value of it, I'll probably skip the jam at the end and just go back to the beginning and kick through it again. So see if that matches up to how you felt about it. See what you think, and check it out yourself. It releases today on July 12th. You can go listen to it now, and you can go read my review right now if you'd like to.